Live from our news hub here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra, this is News 360. Good evening and thank you for joining us. My name is Aisha Yakubu Khalid.
And my name is Martin Asiedu Date. Coming up for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Electoral Commission asked to relay new constitutional instrument with the grantor system for voter registration reinstated.
Later in Mission, school feeding program restored at Daliga Primary School after TV3 report.
On the foreign front, Sudanese leaders postponed signing of agreement to resume a short-lived democratic transition. We're live on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, all across the world on 3news.com. Don't forget, you can also watch us live on DSTV channel 279.
We're starting from the House of Legislature because a lot has been happening in the last 24 hours. Now, Parliament has rejected the Public Elections Registration of Voters Regulations 2023 constitutional instrument, that's the CI, that was proposed by the Electoral Commission. The CI was seeking to make the Ghana card the sole document for voter registration. Here is a News Desk report.
Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, on Tuesday, February 28, briefed Parliament's Committee of the Whole on the new draft of Public Elections Registration of Voters Regulations 2022. The use of the Ghana card, the sole identification document, according to the EC, would have removed completely the guarantor system for voter registration exercise. She told MPs the new CI will read the electoral register of minors, foreigners, and help guarantee the integrity and credibility of the register.
Under this law, we are saying that you cannot come in through the guarantor system or use a passport to prove your citizenship.
Despite her defense, the minority remains opposed to the new constitutional instrument.
The proposed CI, which makes the Ghana card the sole requirement for voter registration, serves as a restraint on citizens' right to register and exercise their franchise in elections.
The majority insisted the National Identification Authority's system used for registering the Ghana card is more robust than that of the Electoral Commission's.
The Electoral Commission is saying that they admit that their own system is not foolproof. This is a much robust system, and so we want to, as the law provides, align ourselves so that moving forward, you sanitize the system and also ensure that the fraud in the system would be eliminated.
But after the briefing, Parliament's Committee of the Whole met to deliberate on the various concerns and opposition of the CI.
The committee further urges the House to officially communicate to the EC of its decision for favourable consideration before finalisation and presentation of the CI to Parliament for passage into law.
Haruna Idrisu is Member of Parliament for Tamale South.
In this document, any discussion on this matter must recognize the right guaranteed under Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution. Probably we can put it under Item 2, compilation of a new biometric register to allow eligible Ghanaians qualified to be registered to vote to be so registered by the Electoral Commission of Ghana for that purpose.
Deputy Minority Leader Alexander Kwamina Apenyo-Markin said the decision to direct the EC to rework the CI was a neutral one, devoid of political leanings.
This matter was not an NDC against MPP matter. It was an issue that all of us had an interest in. So I would want to right away dispel any notion out there
that whereas the NDC was against the EC for certain provisions in the proposed CI, the NPP was for the EC.
Ahmed Ibrahim is Deputy Minority Whip.
The Committee of the Whole took into consideration most of the items that were dragging the two sides not to be able to arrive at a consensus and iron them out. So adopting this report and voting yes for the acceptance of this report, Mr. Speaker, will do this country a great deal. Even the latest promise and assurance that was given by the Electoral Commission, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, during the Committee of the Whole, has also not been met.
Parliament directed the Electoral Commission to present a new one with guarantor system reinstated. The ball is now back in the court of the Electoral Commission.
Well, also on Friday, the House, by a vote of 137 in favor and 136 against, approved 3 key tax bills. The 3 bills are part of measures by government or securing the $3 billion IMF bailout. My colleague Noble Crosby-Annan in the following report takes up the controversy which surrounded the bills.
When government, with its tail between its legs, finally decided to seek a bailout from the International Monetary Fund, industry players predicted a tough negotiating process with the Bretton Woods institution, partly due to how distressed the economy was, and the other because of how long it took for government to finally come down from its high horses. As part of the requirement by the IMF, Ghana needed to supplement its domestic revenue. And with doubt over the success or otherwise of government's domestic debt exchange programs, coupled with uncertainties over government's negotiation with China over debt restructuring, the 3 revenue bills, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill 2022, and the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2022, were seen by many as government's last card. According to the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Adesing, the passage of the revenue bills will conclude the requisite prior actions agreed on in the staff-level agreement to advance Ghana's $3 billion program to the IMF Executive Board for the country to ease its current economic difficulties. Although the government feared failing to pass the new tax bills on Friday would jeopardize the country's chances for a quick economic recovery and board approval for an international monetary fund, the finance minister was confident the bills will be passed.
Parliament, in the national interest, will pass these bills before the close of the week, and it will not be seen as disloyalty to any one party.
But just as the dust was yet to settle on the matter in which the MPs voted against the party's decision and approved President Akufo-Addo's nominees, there was what seemed to be a frantic test for NDC MPs to gain some credibility.
We are very convinced that the 136 are all going to vote against those taxes and any other thing they bring. We have an opportunity to let people understand that, of course, certain individuals within our rank get so. That is not the reflective of the entire caucus.
Well, as has been proving one too many a time, that what the ruling government wants, the ruling government gets. Like was in the case of the recent ministerial approval, Parliament has by 137 to 136 majority decision passed the 3 revenue bills on Friday, March 31.
What the tellers have submitted, ayes 137, the noes 136. Honorable members, with this, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022 is read the 3rd time and passed. Honorable members, the Income Tax Amendment Number 2 Bill 2022 is read the 3rd time and passed. I go by the rules.
This time, No NDC MP broke rank, perhaps because it was a vote adopted by a head count. With concerns raised by the minority about the numbers in the House, Speaker Alban Gbagben says nothing untoward was done in the passage of the revenue bills, despite the absence of the Nanton MP, Mohammed Hadi Tafiru. The MP was involved in an accident while on his way to Parliament to vote. Reacting to the passage of the bills, Boko Central MP Mahama Yariga, speaking on key points, insisted government was refusing to burden share.
What sacrifices are you making? Those are the issues that are in contention. It's not that Ghanaians don't want to support for the country to recover. But the person asking them to support is rather feeding fat on the sacrifices that they are making. The IMF made 2 recommendations. Cut down expenditure, ramp up revenue mobilization. You are focusing on revenue mobilization. You are doing nothing about cutting down on expenditure.
For former Deputy Minister for Transport, Titus Glover, government has no other option as it seeks to revive the economy.
We are stuck currently the way we find ourselves. That international financial market has been shut on our face because we've not been able to pay our debts. So how do you pay your debts? It's about some of these things that we have to do, and because we have to come internally and find ways and means to raise this revenue, so be able to pay off. So how do you pay your debts? It's a way we're trying to raise revenue that you're able to pay off some of these debts. The one that is remained is what we use in the development of this country.
Political commentator and legal practitioner Martin Kpebu says the business community, the worst affected by these taxes, are not fighting enough.
Lots of companies in Ghana, those that are affected, what prevented them from coming together? They weren't fighting much because, like you rightly said, they would pass this cost on to the final consumer. When we're already suffocating, the people who can fight most will not fight because they have better standards of living. Meanwhile, they forget that they also have relations.
This may be a plus for the country in its quest to seek the $3 billion IMF bailout, but may be a disadvantage to the business community in the country. For TV3 News, Noble Crosby Annan.
A lot more analysis would be coming subsequently on these 3 revenue bills that have been passed by Parliament. On to some other news now. It is no secret that the toughest parliamentary contest in the country is really in the Volta region, especially for the NDC primaries. Even incumbents that have won the general election by landslide victories tread with caution and limit their hopes when it comes to the primaries. And that knowledge underpins the hope of 27-year-old Daniel Nuku Kove, who is aiming to undo a sitting MP who has won the Mafi Adidome seat by the highest percentage yet.
Born on December 5, 1995, Daniel Nuku Kove is probably the youngest aspirant in the NDC's parliamentary race. The native of Mafia Jasika is a former student of Bando Secondary School and holds a master's in peace, security and intelligence from the University of Professional Studies, Accra. Though just 27 years old, Daniel says he's ready for the big political platform.
My interest for politics started when I became a student leader and how people must be served. Even though I was not part of the executive council, I was always part of their meetings in decision making. And that was where I realized serving people has been something that has been my interest. And then that was how come I took this bold decision to go into the limelight politics to serve the people of good people of Central Town constituency.
Daniel Nuku says he chose to run on the NDC's tickets because he believes in the values of the party, not oblivious of the fact that the Central Town constituency is a safe seat of the NDC. The party has won the seat since it was created in 2004.
The National Democratic Congress gives opportunity to all, and of course to young people. If you look at our national executive structure today, you see very young people serving, and that is one of the motivation. And then I believe in the vision of the National Democratic Congress. We are people-centered, and we give opportunity to all. And that is the reason why I decided to join the NDC.
In Daniel's way are 4 other candidates who also want to represent the NDC at its parliamentary candidate for the Tong Central constituency. But Daniel's biggest tussle would be the current MP of Central Tong, Hutoje, Alexander Roosevelt. The two-term MP has not only dwindled the NPP's parliamentary votes in the constituency, but increased his votes, scoring 90.3% of valid votes cast. Although Daniel Nuku believes the MP has done a lot for the constituency, he says he can do better.
In the Central Tong constituency, majority of the people who are in agribusiness are not making enough revenue. We are still poor. There are no jobs for the youth. And these are major challenges that are being faced by the people of Central Tong that I am intending to solve together with the people. The biggest goal is in achieving SDG goal 1 to 4. 1, no poverty. The SDG 2 talks about zero hunger. 3, well-being of the people. And 4, quality education.
Daniel is committed to changing the lives of his constituents through agribusiness and youth entrepreneurship.
My mission basically is to be an agent of change, is to represent the people and always be the voice of the people of Central Tong and to bring to them what they deserve. My vision comes back to the well-being of the people. My vision comes back to the standard of living of the people. How can we make Central Tong a comfortable place for the people to be? If we are able to achieve most of these things, I believe Central Tong can be a small world for us to live in.
The question about whether or not Ghana is ready for a parliament of young people has been asked over again in recent times. Daniel Nuku had this to say about that.
In the first parliament, who had the experience? All those who went to parliament picked up experience in parliament. Who gets experience in his constituency as a parliamentarian before going to parliament? No one. We learn in parliament. We learn on the job. When we look at the young people in parliament today, they are in parliament today with very high standard, that any young person going to parliament must live up to standard or beyond, because these are people that are doing a lot in their constituencies.
Some are of the view it is time for young people to take up the mantle to lead. But how young is too young and how old is too old would be a debate for long. And Daniel Nuku cover whether he succeeds or not would be a realistic data to inform that debate. Aisha Yakubu Khalid, TV3 News. Away from that, the week has been dominated by debate on the LGBTQ issue following comments by President Akufo-Addo during a visit with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. The LGBTQ plus bill has now been recommended for approval by the relevant committee. My colleague Judith Awochitando in this 3 News Explainer has all the breakdowns on the conversation so far.
The LGBTQ plus debate in Africa misses no space lately in interactions between African leaders and leaders of many Western countries who are some of its strongest advocates. Many African leaders have had to shut out advocating Western leaders, as Uhuru Kenyatta did during a briefing with then-President Obama some years back.
For Kenyans today, the issue of gay rights is really a non-issue. We want to focus on other areas that are day-to-day living for our people.
Former President of Ghana, the late Professor John Evans Atta Mills, was just as forthright in asserting Ghana's position despite warnings about the risk of aid cuts from Great Britain in 2011.
I, as President of this nation, will never initiate or support any attempts to legalize homosexuality in Ghana. As a government, we will abide by the principles enshrined in our constitution, which constitution is supreme.
A section of the Ghanaian public took on former President John Dramani Mahama for his open association with a known LGBTQ plus advocate, Andrew Solomon, who had written the foreword of his book, My First Coup d'etat. His Minister of Information then, Mahama Ayariga, was compelled by the circumstances to clear the air on President's position on homosexuality, which he said was criminal per the laws of Ghana. It will not be long before President Mahama got hounded on his 2016 visit to the Scottish Parliament for what they said was he operating an anti-LGBTQ+ government. It thus came to many as a surprise when President Akufo-Addo, in an interview on Al Jazeera in 2017, suggested that the legalization of gay rights in Ghana was bound to happen.
I don't believe that in Ghana so far a sufficiently strong coalition has emerged, which is having that impact on public opinion that will say, change it. Let's then have a new paradigm in Ghana.
Is that something you would get behind?
I think that it is something that is bound to happen.
The criticism from religious bodies, particularly, was stinging. So when he got another opportunity in church, he made the most definite of his statements against it in 2021.
It will not be under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that same-sex marriage will be legalized in Ghana. It will never happen.
But this unequivocal expression was lost in the president's recent comments at the Jubilee House when he met United States Vice President Kamala Harris, who, in discussing Ghana's anti-LGBTQ+ bill in Parliament, called it a human rights issue and reaffirmed her support.
At the end of the process, I will come in. In the meantime, the Parliament is dealing with it. And I have no doubt that the Parliament of Ghana will show, as it's done in the past, first of all, its sensitivity to human rights issues, as well as to the feelings of our population, and will come out with a responsible response.
For many, including the Speaker of Parliament, Albon Babing, who has consistently assured Ghanaians that the anti-LGBTQ+ bill in Parliament will be passed, Akufo-Addo lost a golden opportunity to set the record straight.
This is the word to His Excellency the President. There is no way he can intervene. That answer he gave. That is now before Parliament. And when he gets to a stage that he will come in. Hey, please. This is legislation. This is not execution.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference shares similar sentiments. Its president, Most Reverend Matthew Gyamfi, is quoted by the Catholic Trends saying, quote, "We expect a president to have spoken more boldly, to say what the people of Ghana at least have said up till now, even if it has not been passed in Parliament yet," unquote. Perhaps the LGBTQ+ bill, which was laid in Parliament in August 2021, is what has changed the president's commentary. The bill has gone through many phases and has now been cleared for passage by Parliament's Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, which has received and reviewed over 170 memoranda from interest groups and stakeholders. Notwithstanding that Section 104 of the Criminal and Other Offences Act 1960 at 29 criminalizes unnatural carnal knowledge, proponents of the Private Members Bill argue the existing law is not expansive enough to deal with the activities of LGBTQ+, hence the bill. A legal opinion by the government's principal legal advisor, the Attorney General, whose memorandum raised issues of fundamental human rights breaches, helped refine the bill to its ready state. Proponents of the bill say it has bipartisan support in Parliament, but outside it, cracks are beginning to emerge on the political front. As criticism of President Akufo-Addo's stance in the press conference with Harris mounted, the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Mr. Richard Ahiaba, asked former President John Dramani Mahama what his position on the subject is. In a tweet, Mr. Ahiaba asked, quote, "What is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's position on the evolving LGBTQ+ debate? What is it?" unquote. We don't know definitely yet, but at least one leading NDC member has asked for the country to approach the subject with a bit more nuance. Director of International Relations of the party, Alex Sebefia, has some critical questions.
When you jail a man for 10 years, do you allow his wife to go and meet him? As a society, we tend to create some of these things that exist. Because somebody can go into prison without having a penchant whatsoever for making love to somebody of the same sex. But because of rape and what goes on in the prison and whatever,
which is true,
he comes out with a flavor for it. He may not, but he will have now a flavor for it. What steps are we taking to deal with such a person?
Having now been modified with changes in the short and long titles, removal of queer and intersex, and realignment of the penalties, the bill inches closer to being approved.
We are looking at the bill in that context, taking into account our culture, practices, our religious practices as enshrined in the 1992 Constitution.
Inevitably, the U.S. Vice President's visit refocused the lenses of the international media on the anti-LGBTQ+ debate with what some call sensational and alarmist commentary. A recent CNN story described the bill as draconian with the harshest sanctions in Africa. Those opposed to the bill continue to dread its impact when it comes into force. Danny Bediako of Rightify Ghana says, quote, "It's going to make it difficult for the LGBTQI+ community to exist. They are just trying to erase the community through this bill, so it will definitely lead to an increase in attacks," unquote. With threats of sanctions looming and Ghana cap in hand at the moment, trying to woo Western donors to come to the aid of its ailing economy, it will be interesting to see how first Parliament and then the President balance what proponents insist are right family values and not falling foul of the powerful West. Information Minister Kojompong Kruba is in no doubt, though, that the focus on the subject this week may be much ado about nothing. Quote, "We are not pressured in any way to focus on things that are not essentially within our main priority." He told CNN, "Our priority number one is getting the Ghanaian economy on track, and that's what we are focused on. This conversation is not part of our mainstream conversation here in Ghana," unquote. Well, it doesn't look that way if you follow the frenzy with which proponents of the bill approach it, whether in Parliament, on traditional media, or on social media.
All right, so the conversation continues, and definitely Parliament is on recess. When they return, this is going to be part of the front burner conversations. And if it is passed, would that bring finality to this LGBTQ+ debate? We'll definitely keep you posted or keep you in the loop as the conversation continues. This is still News 360. On to some other stories now. As part of efforts to build confidence, develop critical thinking, cultural connections, and cultivate exceptional public speaking skills, the English Speaking Union has organized the Young Debaters Competition, which will see the winner represent Ghana at the International Public Speaking Competition in London, UK.
Targeted at students in senior high schools in Ghana, the program affords the youth a platform to share and shape their opinions and perceptions of affairs bordering on social geopolitics.
The Young Debaters Competition is ongoing, and here students not only have the opportunity to hone their skills in public speaking, but also to articulate their ideas effectively. But they also, gain some exposure to a diverse range of perspectives and engage with a global community.
This year's final saw Accra Girls Senior High School, Accra High School, Akosombo International School, and Chemu Senior High School vying for the ultimate prize of representing Ghana in the UK. Some of the participants shared their experiences from the competition.
Participating in this program has enabled me to gain more confidence to speak in public. I've gained more knowledge through my research to, incorporate into my speech.
It's helped me to overcome my fear of speaking in front of this large audience. Yes, it has helped me gain ability to communicate my ideas effectively. It's a very good opportunity, and it takes a hard work, but it's easy when you dedicate or when you mean it, you want to. I think you go for it and you'll be fine.
Director of Public Affairs at Parliament, Kate Addo, underscored the need for such competitions.
These are kids who are between the ages of 14 and 16, and they're able to articulate their thoughts on issues that are very, very, serious. You're talking about fossil fuel, you're talking about changing the world, you're talking about sport. These are policy issues. And some of the questions from the judges, are questions that would go to policymakers. And I see how these kids are handling themselves, and I think it's a very, very, very good thing.
Salome Jakpasu is a programs manager of the Young Debaters.
The fact that we have young people that are not very confident to stand in front of a microphone or in front of an audience to share their opinion, defend their ideas, it really is it's an issue that we noticed, or it's a need that we are trying to fill. That's why we brought up this program that encourages them to stand in front before a crowd.
Chemu Senior High School's Mackenzie Damprani emerged winner of the Young Debaters competition. He will represent Ghana in London in May of 2023 to participate in the IPSC. Young Educators Foundation is a Ghanaian NGO that promotes education and literacy in Ghana. They have been standing at the forefront of literacy with programs such as the Spelling Bee and Young Debaters.
You're still watching News 360. Stay with us. We have Mission right after this.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beats washing powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beats washing powder.
Welcome back. This is Mission. Mission is supported by Star Ghana Foundation with thanks to FCDO, and TV3 gets results as the school feeding program has been restored at Daliga Primary School. My colleague Stanley Niblo, who visited the school, reports that enrollment, which declined as a result of the suspension of the policy, has increased again.
The Daliga Primary School serves pupils from 4 adjoining communities. The school's enrollment had declined during the mission team's first visit in November last year. The school is a beneficiary of government's school feeding program, but caterers had not cooked for the children for 7 months, forcing many pupils to stop attending school. After TV3 Mission reports, the social intervention program has been restored. With the resumption of the feeding program, the pupils can concentrate in class. Teachers are happy that enrollment figures have appreciated. This is a class of 40 pupils. Last year, November, when I first visited this school, out of the total enrollment, only 11 of them were present. And this was attributed to the fact that the school feeding program that usually sustains the enrollment had been suspended. And so most of the children that are supposed to come to school to be impacted academically were in the various communities wandering about. But today, the school feeding program has been restored. And so out of the 40 pupils, 32 of them had reported to school.
Since they started feeding them, the children started coming again, as compared to when they stopped or when they suspended the cooking. So to this, I say we thank them and may they continue to be cooking for the children to improve their coming.
Agnes Anamu explained the reason for the suspension of the school feeding program.
At that era, when you came ahead of the news, the caterer was sick and admitted. Went to Boku Hospital, she had a fracture. And then she wasn't of herself. You know, she's the one to buy food for people to cook. If she is not, who is going to cater for bringing in food? That was why you met them not being fed. I was surprised the teacher said they have been doing it. I said, how can a teacher, what kind of food, quantity of food do you bring to school to say your food sustain the children? We are all aware, we are talking of the school feeding. You went and met them, they were not cooking. That is right, we should tell them what is wrong. But we try to put it a picture as if there's this thing. So I wasn't all that happy. I said, oh, but you people praise, the head teacher praised the creator. When we met them all, that she was the best. Now, because she wasn't there, you didn't trace to know what happened. But it was good because you came in. And after it all, she became well. And we called her, she's back doing, and all the children are there.
Dr. Market Nawani is the MP for Nabdam.
Being assured of food at school is a pull factor. It's something that brings them to the school. You know, if they get the food and eat, then of course you can keep them in the school and you can keep them to learn. Now, without the food, coming to the school itself is useless because they are not even going to stay in school. If they do come, they will still leave the school to go and look for money to feed themselves.
Girls who had stopped attending school and risk being impregnated by illegal minors have all returned to school. They look forward to see the continuation of the social intervention program. One of the problems confronting the Daligan Basic School has been addressed, but the school will also need help to address its infrastructural challenges. Currently, teaching and learning is carried out in a dilapidated classroom. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Daliga, Upper East Region.
Well, great progress there. Now the children can focus on their education. Mission for You and Mission is supported by Star Ghana Foundation with thanks to FCDO.
In more news tonight, Atlantic Mall has officially been opened for business. The mall represents a significant milestone in the growth and development of Ghana's retail industry as well as the local economy.
The Atlantic Mall project sits on approximately 13,000 meters squared of retail space and has a spacious and secured parking bay for customers. The mall, which is owned by Medco, houses over 40 shops. The mall, which featured a wide range of local and international brands such as The Outlet, Palace, Mabel Kate's Shop, Cinema, among others, seeks to offer one-stop shop experience. At the official opening, Chief Executive Officer of Bro Ghana, Tony Setre, stated that the mall will serve a wider class of people.
It's very well located for the university community and North Legon. And as we go on,
there will be employment opportunities as well, both direct and indirect, from suppliers who will be bringing that stuff to the mall, to direct employment by the tenants themselves. And again, to the benefit of the nation, there will be a lot of taxes that will be generated.
The facility manager, Angelina Asante, said the mall has been strategically located to provide a wide array of services and an unbeatable shopping experience.
It's convenient. There's a lot of parking, so you don't have to worry about where to park. When you come, you do your shopping, you can get somewhere to go and eat if you're hungry. You can come with the family to watch a movie. You can come and do a conference here, so organizations that want to do conferencing will be offering that very soon. There's going to be a gym here, so you can keep fit and keep healthy.
Located at the Atomic Junction roundabout in North Legon, the Atlantic Shopping Mall is expected to attract thousands of shoppers daily, both far and near.
You're still watching News 360. We have sports right after this. Stay with us.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, just like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer with a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my way to a knockout like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up, what makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to all the extensive highlights, analysis, and insights. So do join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on QFM 92.7 as we serve you the best sports buffet and most satisfying in the sports world. The 3 sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in the sports world here on Sports Ultras.
What's your take on an ideal guy?
I'm attracted to sapiosexuals.
Oh, sapiosexuals? Cool.
The smart guy.
See, I am one.
What's your take for the constitutional review?
See, they are really disturbing. They are worrying. Review. Constitutional review. The call for a constitutional review is not a bad call.
Really?
At all. Especially in the light of the fact that some laws have outlived their usefulness.
It was just gentlemen. I think Afena-Gyan.
Afena-Gyan? Who doesn't know Afena-Gyan? Excellent footballer. Dangerous. Tactical.
There's this show on TV. It's a music show. Mentor.
I like Mentor. See, my family watches Mentor. Everybody. Hey, see, everywhere. Mentor.
Where edition? Where edition?
Mentor's gonna take you higher.
Don't be clueless. Stay on top of issues with 3news.com and tune in to Media General's radio platforms on the go using 3news.com. We are on a mission promoting access to quality health and education through the power of our media space. Since 2014, we have made great impact. TV3 mission now drives Ghana's quest to break barriers and provide access to inclusive and quality girls' education, together with women's maternal health services. Our mission to address the needs of the socially excluded has won the admiration of many. Indeed, TV3 Mission gets you the results. Mission is live on TV3 News 360 every Saturday and Sunday. Supported by Star Ghana Foundation, with thanks to Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office.
It's time for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. We start off with round 25 of the Ghana Premier League. King Faisal claimed all 3 points in a well-known victory over Accra Lions at the Accra Sports Stadium, thanks to an early effort from Benjamin Bature. Meanwhile, it was a point apiece between Dreams FC and Accra Hearts of Oak following a goalless draw at the Theatre of Dreams in Daewoo.
Eventually, there's a foot of Accra Hearts of Oak that gets the ball out of danger zone.
It's a long throw in, the header is on. The shot is fired off target. Keeping the tabs on the game, Dreams FC, as they come forward. Shot eventually fired, but that was blocked. For Dreams FC have other ideas through the middle. This looks good. Laid a pass on the far side, but the flag is up. Still coming forward, the shot is fired from afar.
They had to folk probing. It's Linda and Tange with that shot, making it difficult for them.
By Accra Hearts of Oak, Inoke Subonting, and especially Caleb Amankwa with some come forward. Through the middle! Good shot, good save.
This is when stars are made. Lovely cross from Kojobi Jr. Look at the Chester, the control, and the turnaround hits it on the half volley.
Intercepted by Ni Akwanunu.
Now, following the draw, assistant coach of the Phobians, David Oklu, maintains that despite missing out on victory, the game ended well. On the other hand, coach of the Still Believe boys, Abdul Karim Zito, explained that his objective was to win, but in the very least, he was content with a draw.
This is a game we ended very well. I think the latter part, you could see that my boys were giving their all. They were very determined to win it, but it's unfortunate. The needed goal, we couldn't get it, you see. And I think Konedu is learning a lot from him. The two of them are fantastic.
The objective is to win, but at least it's Accra as a folk. If you don't go for win, or if you don't have the win, we should draw. Well, you know, it's inexperience. For that, by the time we reach certain number of games, they will come up themselves. Here, you don't need to teach them more. You understand me? We are still in the league, so that the game itself is a teacher.
Proceeding to the English Premier League, Unai Emery's Villains pulled a 2-0 victory over Graham Potter's Blues at Stamford Bridge. Elsewhere, Manchester City thrashed Liverpool 4-1, but remain 8 points away. To score twice in the Gunners' 4-1 win over Leeds United.
Get your foot on it. Oh, Douglas Luiz is headed by Cucurella straight into the path of Ollie Watkins, and in the form that he is in, he was never going to miss. And moments after rattling the frame of the goal, Aston Villa have the lead, and Watkins has his little bit of Villa history. Had to score a second. Douglas Luiz, who's more than capable of whipping them right in from here. He's done it twice this season. Just a deft one in towards the near post. Flicked down away from Buendia, but Ramsey recycles it. Oh, what a strike from McGinn! A quite magnificent finish from distance.
It's Gabriel Jesus scores it! Leaders lead Leeds. And Gabriel Jesus gets past Ayling. Martinelli, what a ball! What a finish in the back post! What a start to the second half! Ben White, the man whose first Arsenal goal. Jesus into Trossard. Lovely touch from Trossard, and the move still alive. What a move! And Jesus from open play this time. They get themselves on the score sheet. Some decent run. Christensen deflected in. Saka. Degaard, Xhaka! You score against them, they always strike back.
Well, the flag stayed down here on Jota, and he's having a run here for Liverpool. Akanji's got back really well. Salah came in and scored! Mo Salah for Liverpool, no flag! Gundogan. Grealish. Alvarez! 1-1! The early Haaland limits the options a little bit on the City bench, but they've got a promising position here with Riyad Mahrez. De Bruyne! What a start to the second half for Manchester City! Alvarez. Can he get the shot away? He can. There's the chance. 3! De Bruyne. Grealish! He deserves a goal today. Outstanding from Manchester City. And look at the smile on Jack Grealish's face.
Heading over to tennis, Jannik Sinner came from a set down to claim a shock win over top seed Carlos Alcaraz in the Miami Open semi-finals. The Italian overcame the Spaniard to book a meeting with Russia's Daniil Medvedev in the final. The loss ends Alcaraz's brief return as world number 1, with Novak Djokovic set to regain the top spot on Monday.
But not able to defend that one, and Sinner grabs the outright lead.
That will be all for sports this evening. I am Aniela Alute. Up next is international news.
Sudanese leaders have postponed the signing of an agreement planned for Saturday to resume a short-lived democratic transition, an official has said, amid continued disagreement between military factions. Spokesman for the negotiation process, Khalid Umar Yusuf, said on Twitter on Saturday that military and civilian parties have unanimously agreed to redouble efforts to overcome the remaining obstacle within a few days and pave the way for the signing of the final political agreement on April 6. The signing of the accord was delayed due to lack of consensus on some outstanding issues. A coup on October 21 led by Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan had derailed the process that began following the 2019 removal of General Omar al-Bashir. Representatives have been negotiating on agreement for weeks. The final part in a two-phase political process launched in December to set out the terms for reviving the transition to civilian-led rule and democratic elections. Reform of the security forces is a key point of contention in the talks, which envisage an exit of generals from politics once a civilian government is installed. Ukrainian investigators are searching the home of Orthodox Church leader in Kiev accused of justifying Russia's armed aggression against Ukraine. Metropolitan Pavel Lebed runs the Kiev Pershok Lavra, Ukraine's most important monastery. His branch of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church was previously loyal to Moscow clergy. Kiev prosecutors say he is suspected of inciting national and religious hatred. Kiev has been trying to evict him and his followers from the monastery. Metropolitan Pavel has denied the allegations and argues that the Kiev authorities have no legal grounds for evicting the monks and staff from the monastery. Pope Francis has joked that he is still alive as he left hospital in Rome after a 3-day stay. He was admitted to Gemelli Hospital midweek with breathing difficulties and later diagnosed with bronchitis. The Vatican has said he was responding to antibiotics and would be released on Saturday depending on the test results. The Argentine pontiff, who marked 10 years as head of the Catholic Church earlier this month, had suffered a number of health issues throughout his life, including having part of one of his lungs removed at age 21. He has also used a wheelchair in recent months because of problems related to his knee.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
In entertainment news tonight, Charterhouse, organizers of music's biggest night, the annual Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, has announced a new date for the 24th edition of the prestigious awards. The event, originally planned for May 13, has been brought back to May 6. The venue still remains the Grand Arena of the Accra International Conference Center. The much publicized awards event will air live across Ghana on your #1 channel, TV3.
In more entertainment news this evening, fast emerging Ghanaian artist and nominee for the 24th VGMA Unsung category, Boy Jake, has said that making the Unsung list is a dream come true. The Lynx signee sees the feat as a huge inspiration and hopes to keep working hard to improve his artistry. Boy Jake is optimistic about winning the keenly contested Unsung category.
While still
unveiling artists that have been nominated for the VGMA Unsung Artist of the Year 2023, powered by 3 Entertainment. I have Boy Jake here with me. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I mean, tell me about the dream that has now come true.
Listen, I've been doing music for a really long time. Doing covers on like YouTube, on radio, on TV, you know, so to be able to finally bring out my own music and, you know, be sitting here in front of like, you know, all of you guys as part of the Unsung, VGMA Unsung Artist is just incredible. It feels surreal.
How long had you been doing music?
I started, you know, in the church, you know, and learning instruments from like I don't know, like JHS, you know. But yeah, like around 2010, that's when I really started taking music seriously. So to be here 13 years later and finally getting nominated, like my first VGMA nomination, it's an unsung, but it's still a big deal. Yeah.
What does this nomination mean to you? It's a big one.
To me, it means I'm doing something good and I should keep going. You can't know what the future holds, but to get, you know, something like this come your way just shows you that, hey, there's something in you, there's something special that the world wants to see. Don't give up, just continue doing what you're doing, stay true to yourself, and the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Look at this oh my God. 6 of you that are going to be competing. What is that one thing that you're adding to your performance that's going to make it different and make you stand out?
I think there's a quality in vocals that I don't think anybody else possesses that I do. In my own perspective, that is, I think everybody's special in their own way. I just think my speciality is really the vocals, and I feel like to be able to have the band that, you know, VGMA usually puts on there, the sound quality, the production, like it's a dream to come, you know, true for an artist like me. So I'm hoping to put that all together and show the world that there's really more talent in Ghana. And Charlie, like the whole world should watch out, Charlie. I'm hopeful. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I want more. But like listen, I want the world, and I believe that I'm putting in the work to give me that, and God is going to reward my work. He's done that so far, so I don't think he's going to disappoint me anytime soon. Yeah.
And now, fast-rising Nigerian artist Buju says his goal is to be a better version of himself. The artist, who is currently in Ghana on holidays, noted that Ghana has always been a creative hub for him. He spoke on 3FM Drive with AJ Sapong.
You come to Ghana quite often?
Well, this is like my fourth time in Ghana, yeah.
Yeah, and usually projects bring you in, yes?
To be honest, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first time I'm actually coming for just, you know, chilling purposes.
Yeah.
I came in to shoot Mood.
Yes, with Wiz.
Yes. I shot a song with Darko. Yeah, Bad Since.
Yeah.
Back from earlier. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Ghana is very special to me in terms of like creativity, because I like shooting a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
And recording it sometimes.
Okay, yeah, so. I like that. Now, is there a constant pressure to top your next big hit? Because it's like almost every song, either collaboration or your own single that you put out there becomes a massive hit.
To be honest, there really isn't any pressure at all, but it's just my thing to just be better than the guy I was yesterday.
Okay.
In some sense.
I love that.
In whatever I'm actually doing. Be it music, be it anything at all.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm just currently trying to beat the last project itself, but it's no pressure at all. It's just me being consistent with what I'm doing.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for sharing your last 1 hour with us. My name is Martin Esiedudati.
And I am Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Have a good evening.